Welcome back, Rangers Ed family, and happy 250th birthday to the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. I am your host, Little Ed, and we are here with you live this week for episode 168, sponsored by Lucarelli Law. If you're in Florida or New York and you're in some legal trouble or you just need some legal advice, hit up Dom Lucarelli and tell him Rangers Ed sent you. As always, I'm joined by my co-host to my left, Coach Ed, and to my right, my in-house statistician, Isaac, which is going to be joining us for our first Convince the Eds or something like that. But we're going to do a little in-house arbitration for Braden Schneider's contract. So he's going to have to argue with us, me and Coach Ed, and see how we do with the eye test versus analytics. And our boys, Nick and Dom on the bottom there, our producers, will be our in-house NHL commissioners, if you will. So they'll decide the number or whatever, who wins the argument later on, and that's going to be fun. So stay tuned for that. But before we get into that, Coach, down in sunny Florida in the tank top, drove down last week, spent a few days or almost a week with EA, the PA, and now where you at? Orlando? How you doing?
I'm down in Kissimmee,
Okay.
outside of Orlando, and doing good. New little business venture. Hopefully, do another satellite company, sort of, and everything's going good. It was a great visit for 4th of July with the family. Mikey got some fireworks and had a nice little barbecue. It was a lot of laughs, of course, as always, with Uncle Dave, and it was a good weekend.
Yeah, shout out to the whole family. I had a little bit of FOMO there, but I'll be with you guys later on this month when EA the PA finally pops out that granddaughter of yours. So definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, definitely jealous of you guys, but we're getting a heat wave up here as well. So it's not like we're too jealous of the sun in Florida. But Isaac, how was your 4th of July?
It was good. I was actually at a friend for the weekend. It was nice. Hadn't seen him in a bit, so it was good just catching up, hanging out.
Nice. What about you, Nick? Fresh haircut after the 4th? What'd you decide? It was too hot out there for the hair and the longer beard?
I work outside, so it was killing me throughout the 100 degrees and everything. So I finally just said screw it and got rid of all of it. So jumbo no more, but I'm still here.
Yeah, Coach Ed's still working on his jumbo beard over there. I'm sure EA the PA had something to say about that.
I had a nice little story today. I called Kathy and Aaron.
Well, before we go to Dom, why don't you just tell the quick story?
I was up on a ladder working on a light above a drop ceiling, and a little screw fell, and I thought I dropped it.
Get out of here.
And it was stuck in my beard. I swear on my mother and father.
That's crazy. I wish EJ was here for that one. That's
it was a little tiny screw, and I'm like, it's right here.
Oh man. Well, I was just thinking before the episode I wanted to shower quick, but I obviously lost track of time. But I was like, oh my god, my neck is so itchy. I got nothing compared to you, Nick, and Coach. But yeah, once I get the little bit on the neck, it's especially in the summer, it really starts to bother me. What about you, Dom? You were in my neck of the woods for 4th of July over here on Long Island?
Yeah, I was with some family in Island Park, and we were just having a little bit of a barbecue. It was pretty low key. It was fun. I ended up getting some good people there though. A good amount of people. We ordered like 70 lobsters from Jordan's.
Wow.
Wow.
So, and they all went. So we were hungry. We were definitely
That's a little get together.
No, I mean, we had like my family, like my
Italians.
There, I would think.
I mean, Coach, you know how an Italian party is. You can't have
one of those. That's a lot of that. That's a great day, huh?
Nice. No, it was really good.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Jordan's. I know they had a bad fire. They're not one of our partners or sponsors, but I know they had a pretty bad fire recently. So I guess none of the lobsters were harmed for Dom's party there.
No, they were all unscathed. I mean, probably some a little burned, so a little cooked, but they had to cook them anyway, so it's all right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I appreciate the invite to that, but yeah, we kind of just stayed low key. Lindsay and I hung around by the pool, a little beach, caught up on some stuff. Got my niece's birthday party this weekend. Shout out to Charlotte down in Jacksonville, where Coach was for a few days. So Lindsay and I were making some decorations that I really hope get there on time. So USPS, if you're listening, make sure that package gets down there on time. No, it said it'd be there by Thursday, but you never know. But yeah, shout out to Charlotte. Happy birthday to her. And of course, my cousin Steph. So yeah, guys, it was good 4th of July. Like I said, happy birthday to US of A 250. It was exciting with all the fireworks and the stuff, the ship going into New York City, all the stuff we saw on Instagram. We actually got some bad weather. I guess that was Saturday night, right? So the fireworks started really early around here, probably around like 7 before it got too dark, because the rain was coming in a little bit. So lots of fireworks on the beach, way more than usual for sure. Good stuff, really good stuff. So Nick, how are our socials doing over there? I think our
Are
views are kind of cooking, especially our EJ Raddick video we mentioned last week.
that they are. Oh, it's red this time. Cool. Yeah, check it up out at the top. Gang, everybody go follow our socials, our Instagram, X, TikTok. We're having a lot of fun over there. I'm posting the graphics. Dom's been posting the clips. It's a good time over there, everybody.
And I've been collaborating.
Coach has been on it with the collabs, guys. So head on over to the Instagram, to the TikTok, to the Twitter. The names are scrolling across the top of the screen there for you. Go check it out. It's a good time.
And also,
Yeah,
Isaac's running that the Twitter now, so go check
Yeah.
out
Yes.
Twitter.
Yeah, without a doubt, definitely head on over to X or Twitter, whatever you'd like to call it these days. And yeah, we're definitely cooking, boys. You guys are doing a great job. I really every time I go to my personal Instagram, which I haven't really done in a very long time, I'm finally back over there a little bit and like my woodworking ones, and then I see our clips popping up. I'm like, oh right, we have an awesome team now. It's not just me figuring out how to do all this nonsense. So I really appreciate it, guys. Those nice surprises with those good clips are really, really fun to see when I'm not really expecting them or not knowing when they're going to be coming out. So that's super cool. So keep up the good work there, and hopefully this episode will make some more for you. I have a good feeling we'll have a few towards the end, especially. But before we get into the Rangers talk, we were going to have the owners of O'Brien's Bar and Grill, our lovely partners, the bar across the street from Madison Square Garden, but they had a last-minute party booking at the bar tonight, so they weren't able to join us. But I just want to give them a quick shout-out. They were going through some nonsense over the weekend with the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift wedding, where they shut down the entire street there. Coach, what is that? 34th Street, and which one's O'Brien's on?
I think it's 31st.
Yeah, so they shut
34th
down that whole
other side?
street. Yeah, so they had 31st is on the other side. I always mistake that one. So they shut down that whole street, and then they forced the businesses to close as well. So you couldn't even like walk up there on the sidewalk or anything, like kind of without warning or anything. So Mike O'Brien, one of the owners, great guy, happened to be on Us Weekly, and he got interviewed and stuff, and he was all over the tabloids, if you will, in like the pop culture
Really?
world. Yeah, which was pretty funny. Not funny, I should say, but it was pretty interesting to see him in that world. Yeah, I didn't think it was the right thing to do, and I feel like he was kind of calling for Taylor and Travis to pay them back for the day. I mean, I don't think that's right to force a business to shut down for a complete day. I mean, especially a bar in New York City, they really rely on every possible profit or drink or whatever customer to come in there.
I mean, if anything, they would be hoping to profit off of an event like that. So
yeah,
close to
obviously
the
there's a ton
garden.
of security. I mean, but like it's across the street from the garden, but realistically you're across the street, like you're still pretty far, you know, like they could really close off like a certain part of the area and still keep the businesses open, but whatever. I mean, I guess they don't want to attract more people than were already there. But I thought the whole situation was pretty crazy. You guys have any thoughts on that? Dom, what would your girlfriend think over the 4th about it? Is she a Swiftie?
No, I mean we had to go to I think it was Friday. The wedding was, right. I think
I don't know if it was Friday. Yeah, it wasn't Saturday, 4th of July. I guess it was Friday. Yeah.
Well, we were originally gonna go to New York on Friday night up to Allen Park, and we actually were like, no way, because that was, we waited
like just to go
little
out?
bit. No, to go up to New York and go through like George Washington. We didn't know how bad it was gonna be, because sometimes we take the Holland Tunnel depending on how traffic is, and she was probably more pissed off than I am. And she I don't know, she likes Taylor Swift, but it's not like she understands that this is stupid, and it's a whole big theatrics. Like, you're causing a lot of disruption with this, and now with the building in New York City too, that's like falling down on itself. I feel like
Oh
New
my
York
God.
is like, I feel like New York is just kind of cursed now because of that wedding.
Well, I actually used to be in that industry, inspecting construction like that and making sure that they were going through the proper steps and the proper channels to do what they're doing. And I don't want to get too into it, but when I heard what they were trying to do, it seemed pretty crazy. Long story short is they took an existing commercial building and they're trying to put 16 stories on top of it to make the entire building residential. And the 16, like from the main floor up to like the next floor where they started to build, started to buckle. The beams started to buckle. So I don't know who screwed up, who did what, who didn't account for all the weight, and thinking that it was the old Pfizer building too. So talk about bad karma. So the whole situation is just really screwed up again. But yeah, I'm glad I'm not in that industry, or I wasn't anywhere near that building, because who knows what's going to happen. But yeah, back to O'Brien. Shout out to them. I just wanted to give them what they deserve and some quick shouts. I know we talk about them a lot in our episodes, but I wanted to just really point that out. And if you are anti-Taylor or want to go support O'Brien's, there's a ton of concerts at MSG, non-Taylor Swift concerts, I guess, but a lot of concerts. Mike and Pat told me in July and August, and there's no better place to pregame or postgame a concert than right across the street at O'Brien's. Right, Coach? They got great food, great Guinness, from what I'm told.
Great mozzarella sticks.
Great mozzarella.
Homemade.
I love the baked clams. The what were they called? Oh my God, why am I blanking? Nikki's baked clams. Nick Fatiu's baked clams. Those are amazing. So yeah, boys, we're gonna have to head on over there this year with you guys and enjoy O'Brien's. But if you guys are out there and are hitting up a concert at MSG, definitely go check them out and say hello to Pat and Mike, and yeah, share the love a little bit. So let's get on into the news, the big news in Rangerstown. We are under new Dolanship. Dolan, Jim Dolan, James Dolan, whatever you want to call him, has handed the keys over to his son Quentin, or Quentin, however you pronounce it. And he's much younger, obviously. What is he, 32 years old? He seemed very excited when the Knicks won the championship. And you can only hope that maybe the Rangers are heading more in a direction of being more modernized and not sticking to, I don't know, the old Dolan ways that we always hear about, of him being too controlling and things like that. So, Coach, what were your initial thoughts when you heard the news? Or is this the first time you're hearing it like last week?
No, I did hear when you guys sent it out. You
I'm
guys
just
had it. You sent it in the chat. I mean, I don't know anything about him. I mean, if he's anything, I'm going to compare him to Donald Trump and his sons. I hope they're level-headed like I feel Trump's sons are as far as business goes. But, is he a butt-in kind of guy, or is he going to just lay back and just make financial decisions? I don't know. That could be a big factor in what goes on in the future for sure. Because if he's young and he wants to take control, and have make decisions and battle with Drury a little bit, that could put that's going to be a tough one. I don't want to comment until I see in a few years how it was.
See? No, you can't dog on me when so many other people around hockey are saying the same thing, and they know. They can't put a grade on it until they see it.
I want to know in 5 years how it works out.
Yeah.
I'm
Isaac, what were your initial?
I'm hoping a young guy comes in. He's eager to be as successful as the Knicks. And the way the Knicks are, from what I understand, I'm not a big basketball fan by no means, but from what I hear from everybody who follows them, is that they were a real tight-knit group and they had no real superstars. They just had a really good team. So that, to me, is the way it should be in hockey as well, as far as the team camaraderie.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a quick background before we go to Isaac. Madison Square Garden Corp filed an SEC Form 10 to spin off the Knicks and Rangers into two entirely separate publicly traded companies. So before this, they were just one ownership as like MSG Sports, and now it's going to be Rangers and Knicks, and there's going to be publicly shared and whatever else. And then I guess Quentin will just be the majority owner of said Rangers company. Isaac, what were your thoughts on this? And are you familiar with any kind of business structure like this?
I'm not entirely familiar with it, but I mean, I don't think much is necessarily going to change if Quentin thinks like James Dolan. And I know, like, I think Quentin, they said he worked as some sort of staff member for both the Rangers and the Knicks. So now he's just going to take over like the ownership role really with the Rangers. I don't know what exactly that changes. I wonder if they're now going to be the Rangers and Knicks publicly traded companies, is that going to make it like whatever decisions are made about like the GM or whatever, is it going to be up to like a shareholders board now rather than just Dolan? I don't know. I don't know how that exactly works, but I don't necessarily see anything changing like too dramatically from the little bit I've seen.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is it's got to change the fact that if you were going to buy the team, you would buy the Knicks and the Rangers 100%, right?
Right.
The way it was. So now they could be sold off if they wanted separately. Is that what it is?
Maybe, because I guess if you owned the Madison Square Garden Corporation, you just owned the Knicks and the Rangers. But now if they're separate, then it's two separate things. So I guess you could buy one, not the other.
Yeah, well, what I read was that James Dolan is going to keep the Knicks, and his son is going to be in control of the Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's just a somewhat of form of retiring or whatever, or semi-retiring. And from what I hear, he took a big back seat and or like butted out of the Knicks operations, and that's what kind of turned them around. Obviously, we're not a huge Knicks fans over here, so I don't know too much about that or the logistics, but from what I heard from Knicks fans and versus Rangers fans is like he was way more involved with the Rangers than he was with the Knicks, which is interesting that he decided to give that up as opposed to, say, giving the Knicks up. But who knows? Maybe his son just really likes hockey or whatever. Nick, what about you? What were your initial thoughts? Do you think this is going to be a good thing?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. If he does even just a little bit more than his dad did at times, I would consider it to be an improvement. He's been around these teams for his entire life with his dad owning them, so he knows everything in and out. And if he's just eager to try to come in and get the Rangers back on track and really just figure out what this team needs, I'm excited for it, because any type of new voice in this organization after the past couple seasons is what I think they need. So it's going to be interesting to say.
So this is interesting. I just read, or I'm reading, whatever, breezing through a New York Post sports article. Forbes values the Knicks at $9.75 billion. They value the Rangers at $4 billion. But combined, MSG Sports is only valued at $8.5 billion. So by splitting them, he's increasing his profits or whatever by close to $10 billion.
Wow.
So yeah.
So they're doing it for more money.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's very interesting. I mean, I wish I knew more about like the business side of things. Maybe Lindsay can help me out and understand this better with her little MBA she decided to get a few years ago. Put it to good use and explain this to me. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's very interesting. And I thought it'd be a little fun game to play, act as owners real quick. And what would you guys do as your first, I don't know, what should I say? Your first order of business as owner, but non-roster or non-hockey related. So I don't want to hear anyone say, oh, I would fire Chris Drury. And fans out there, if you want to leave a comment, you can have fun as well. But like I said, nothing like fire Chris Drury, trade Alexi Lafreniere, whatever it is. strictly business or strictly fan, whatever, guest relations, whatever you want to call it. Strictly business, if you will. But before that, Dom, give us your initial thoughts on this move, and then end it with what you would do as your first order of business.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a fresh, younger face is good, and I feel like someone who's motivated, who doesn't have any prior experience, is pretty good for this spot. Just because, you know, James Dolan has been there for God knows how long. I don't even know how long, but he's seen the Rangers up and he's seen the Rangers down, and it makes no difference to him whether the Rangers, go, 0-82 or 82-0. So I think it's good for new ownership to be motivated in that sense, and I think to end that off like that, that second question is kind of get a feel for everything. I don't know if you guys follow football a little bit, but Jim Irsay, who is the former owner of the Colts, his daughter is now the owner, and she's always on the sideline, always on at games, always doing press conferences, and she's involved. And the Colts are not great, but they have a lot of good pieces. They're a lot more organized than they were, and I think that's something that the Rangers need to be, is organized in getting whatever staff they need, and having his pulse on the Rangers, I think, is a really good step for them to becoming something bigger than they already are. Because this is, like you said, it's a $4 billion company. So
Going to be his legacy.
exactly.
I'm glad you brought like the press conference thing up. I mean, did you have anything else to say? Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's that's pretty much it. Just keeping his pulse on everything.
Yeah, I like that because I mean I really enjoy. I mean, you guys hear me always say like I'm listening to Chicklets or whatever. Like the owner of the Hurricanes was on there recently. The owner of the Mammoth is on there. I think he's been on there 2 or 3 times. It's just like they're not like too transparent where they say like we're going after this guy. We're doing like they're just like telling what they're doing a little bit behind the scenes, how they're treating the players, like whatever the facilities they're working on, like things like that I think are important. And like everything's always being so hush hush with the Rangers, like you're saying, like with the press conferences and stuff, even like with Chris Drury, it'd be nice if we heard from him a little bit more often. So I think that's a good one. Nick, why don't you go next?
Yeah, kind of just similar in the same thing of like what I would want to do coming in as a new owner. I'd want to sit down with the core guys and see what they need to be able to form an identity for the team, like one that's solid and that they can all agree on. Whether that be on the ice or off the ice, just in general, to be able to fix any kind of culture issues that there may have been within the last couple of years. I'd want to try to get every guy close to being on the same page as I can before going on to anything else.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, definitely establishing the culture. We've been stressing that a lot the last couple of months or weeks, whatever. And yeah, for the owner to be also on the same page with Drury and Sullivan, that's just a triple whammy, right? So, and that's kind of similar to what I was saying. Like all these other owners that you actually hear from, they say like, hey, we're working closely with the GM. He's filling me in. I'm not involved too much, but like I give them the green light to spend the money and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's good to hear and like understand those types of things and establishing the culture, like talking about the team playing. I don't know. We want to hear about that kind of stuff. Like that's pretty cool. Coach, what about you? Let's just go around the horn.
Let's let Isaac go because mine's going to lead into Coach's Corner.
There you go. How about that, Isaac? Go ahead. I'll go last before Coach.
So I think, by the way, I think it was Dom who was saying with Dolan, I think he bought the team actually like a couple months after the Rangers won the Cup in '94.
This says 1999. It could be
Was
wrong.
I
mean, this is just an AI response, so it could be wrong.
If it was 94, then who knows? Maybe James Dolan passing the ownership onto the Rangers is good for their luck.
Either way.
But in terms of what I would change, if we're not talking about anything on ice, I would say lower the ticket prices because right now it's like $150 to get into like the 400s. I don't know in terms of like business numbers and whatever, how that like how to make that work necessarily. But I also think that it would go a long way to like showing the fans and being like, hey, like we still want you to get in these games, especially with the fact that like they haven't been all that good these last 2 years, and they're still like the most expensive ticket in the league. Like you can go, like I've seen, I think like at UBS Arena, I'm pretty sure you can get like decent seats for like $20, and it's like crazy, you know.
Definitely, without a doubt. And that kind of leads into what I was saying. The only issue is the Garden sells out every single game.
Of course, yeah.
So someone's paying it, and if people are, and that's the difference with UBS, they don't sell out every game. So I see tickets for sale at Costco.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying. Trust me. But I will say they did kind of make a gesture. They sent out a notice to all the season ticket holders, Coach Ed and I, that like the ticket prices weren't going up or were after a disappointing season. So they do stuff like that, I guess, to show their appreciation. But I agree. And that kind of leads into my thing is the Garden experience in general over the years has been, I mean, Coach Ed and I say it all the time, just very quiet, especially during the regular season. And you constantly hear about like, oh, it's all the business people down low. They don't make a lot of noise. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of people up by us on the bridge that are all blue collar. I mean, you see everyone up in like the 400 level behind us. Most of them are probably blue collar. That excuse to me is getting a little dry. I feel like just the atmosphere of the Garden needs to be improved. I don't know if that's like too broad of like a first order of business, but if you want to go specifically, the Rangers need to bring in a mascot. I've been saying it for a few years. As soon as the Flyers introduce Gritty, that place is electric. Everyone loves going to Flyers games. The kids love it. Every time we go to another team's game or whatever, even if it's the minors, obviously the kids love the mascot. But the point is, like, Coach, the same old stuff that they show on the Jumbotron, like the sing-alongs and all that, it kind of falls flat now. They got to change it up. They got to change the Garden experience a little bit.
I don't know. Do any of the original 6 teams have a mascot? I don't think so.
But that's what we're talking about. You're bringing in a new wave.
All of them except the Rangers do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Rangers are. I don't know if everyone currently has them, but I know the Rangers are the only team to have never had a mascot.
Montreal and the Bruins definitely both have a bear. Montreal's is like a polar bear. The Blackhawks definitely does. It's Tommy the Hawk. Because they have them all in the NHL video game too. It's so much fun to play with the mascots. But hey, listen, I mean, I know that might be like too new school for some people, and like Coach, they might say like keep it traditional, but keep it traditional.
I don't have a problem with it, but it's going to be a tough one to pick the right one.
Statue of Liberty, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but I don't see the Statue of Liberty firing somebody up.
The Rangers are, I think.
Give her Mrs. Met body type, right, Nick? What do you say?
So, that's crazy.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but
No, I mean, just like whatever. If it's not a mascot, it just the whole Garden experience needs to be uplifted, modernized a little bit. I love the Blue Crew. Shout out to our buddies Anthony and Kira. They're good. They do a great job, but there's something a little change. That's all. Just something in the right step in the right direction. Maybe a little bit more modern. Not just the same old stuff. I feel like it's just the same old thing year after year.
The Rangers
used to have the Chief.
They have Dancing Larry. That's what they have right now.
Yeah, yeah.
No, we used to have the Chief. He was there in '94 also.
Even that, like, find a kid that can do the dance also and throw him up there with Dancing Larry. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but towards the end of the season, Larry wasn't even there because he was going through his legal issues. Shout out Lucarelli Law. But he wasn't even there anymore. So now they didn't even have that towards the end of the season. So we got to bring in like a young kid that can dance, that actually knows how to dance, unlike Larry, who just makes shit up every single time. He's been doing it for 25 years, and the dance is different every single night. But I don't know. It's something's we gotta boost the Garden atmosphere a little bit. So,
was Dom Lucarelli actually his lawyer?
No.
Oh, I was about to say. My brain was like, wait, what?
That'd be super funny, but no. Apparently, he got into a little bit of trouble at like one of the weddings he did or something.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I don't want to speculate, but yeah, there wasn't any Dancing Larry towards the end of the season. So yeah, I think they need to, like I said, just to boost the Garden experience a little bit and even if it's like getting more kids there. I mean, kind of like what you said, Isaac, is having like another kids day or more like event nights or whatever, trying to get people in more or different people in, I should say, more lively people. I don't know. Figure it out. They clearly have enough money, so we got to figure it out. All right. Anything else on the Dolan, the new Dolanship before we move on to Coach's Corner? Oh no, Coach has to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
well,
ahead, Coach.
I leading into the coach's corner, which this is part of, I love what Dom said about hearsay because I'm going to say in the history of most of the sports, especially football, when the owners are involved in a good way, where they know players' families, personal lives, they take care of certain things, they know babies born, all that kind of stuff, sicknesses in family, and they care about that. It's a big part of the team feeling. I think that adds to it. So I agree with that wholeheartedly. And if he can do something like that and be more involved and not just show up in the locker room and start barking at a guy, I'm going to send you to the minors. We're not talking about that intervention. We're talking about the fact that, like Nick said, also get the hierarchy. I mean, I would even go as to say, bring in Mark Messier and say, what do we need to get these guys to this level? Just consult. You don't have to make it public you're talking to them, but I would talk to them. Talk to guys like that. Because if you go back to when Gretzky got traded, one of the few books I read was Gretzky's biography. And what was his name? Bruce McNall.
Might have to fact check that.
Oh, I read it cover to cover. Bruce McNall was the owner, the new owner of the Kings. And he took Gretzky and he said, what do we need to do? And Gretzky said, this is back when there wasn't as many West Coast teams. He goes, the first thing we need to do is to get a team plane because we got to take care of the traveling. We have to make traveling as easy as possible. He went through a whole list, the practice facility. He did multiple things not related to personnel decisions, but to team decisions and to make the players comfortable and families comfortable and that kind of stuff. So that's what is important. So, I mean, I think the fan interaction is also important. One of the things that drives me crazy is that you can't go watch the Rangers practice. I think that's insane. That was one of the biggest things for me when I was a kid in Long Beach, was seeing the Rangers practice on a weekly basis almost. And,
I mean, not every team. I know they do it way more often than the Rangers do, but I don't think like every practice is open to the public. Maybe some.
No, I'm not saying every practice. Make it once, even if it's once a month, something.
Yeah, for sure.
To me, that brings the kids in. 100%. I mean, I would love to go see it. I don't know, that bothers me a lot.
Yeah. I mean, all good things. Maybe someone's listening and will bring us in as consultants with our good ideas. I mean, hey, I'll be the mascot for the season. Not me, but like I will dress as the mascot. I don't know if
you'll be in the costume.
I would do Dancing Larry. I would do that. Why not?
Coach, I love that you brought up Mark Messier though. It's so mind-boggling that they've never brought him in to like do.
There's got to be a reason why. You don't think like Messier just doesn't want to?
I mean, I know he's got his gig now in NHL, and I'm sure that's much nicer than unless
that came like much later too.
Yeah,
I feel like they had opportunity. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I know when they were like looking for like Gerard Gallant, like I'm like during that search, like for a coach, like I'm so surprised. Like how do you not bring him in even just to consult? And like maybe it's something now in his contract he can't do now that he's on, he's commentating now. But it's always been me and my dad, especially my dad, has been so hell bent on bringing him or Graves or Leach. And I know there was talks about it like way back, but like, how do you not bring one of those guys back? Like,
don't they have a leadership award named after him?
Yes. Like Rod Brindamore, like it's the easiest example. Like guy won a cup, did it again as a coach. Like you don't think?
I don't know. I understand what you're saying. I don't necessarily think that every player. I think the third, fourth line players make better coaches. A guy like Messier, Gretzky couldn't succeed in it. There are certain guys at that level that aren't necessarily going to make a good coach. That's why Lemieux's away, never coached really. That's my opinion, because they expect a certain level, and it's hard not to expect that level of play. So it's difficult. I think the third, fourth liners have a better perspective of the hardworking guys. And I don't know. I find that's why Brindamore to me is so successful.
Yeah.
And most good coaches in the NHL are third, fourth line guys. I mean,
Gretzky coached Arizona, and it
doesn't
didn't go
Brindamore
well.
have like over 1,000 points?
yeah, but
I
he
feel
wasn't
like
a
it's
superstar in the league. He
That's
was
the
a
thing. Like
very
you don't
good-
think of him as it, but if you look at his
No.
numbers, he's
yeah,
got
but you don't think
some numbers.
I don't know his numbers, but he wasn't a Wayne Gretzky type or a Mark
Well, of
Messier
course
type
not.
of star.
No.
He was a captain. He was a leader. He was a great player. He was that guy you were going to have out in the last minute of a game for sure, like Jordan Stahl type. He would probably make a very good coach at some point. You know,
He had a couple 75-point seasons. He had a 87-point season, 86. He was, I think, kind of hovering around point a game ish, maybe a little bit under. In his career here, 1,184 points in 1,484 games.
But I also feel like there's
Good.
there's a select few people who, Mark Messier is a different breed of leadership. Like that guy, won a cup in Edmonton without Gretzky. He was the captain in Edmonton.
I'm not saying he couldn't be a good coach. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that. I would rather have him running the behind the scenes stuff and like the director of operations, because his big thing in his retirement speech and in his Jersey speech was, I want to thank the trainers, the equipment guys, the janitor. He knew what it took to win from the ground up, not just the players, and I think that's important. So, to
100%.
me, if I was Dolan Jr. or whatever his name is, I would say, let me get a guy like Messier in to run the player up, the team operations, and consult with Drury and whatever stuff, like something to that effect, some title like that. Could he be a good coach? I'm not denying that he could be, but I
100%.
think he'd be more.
Well, I think he likes. I think
Steve
the issue
Eiserman
is.
type.
I think the issue is he just likes PK Subban too much.
I don't know.
And Chris in the chat corrected me. Leach was he did have a role, but he was with when JD was around. So, I mean, those. I mean, I feel like the presence of I believe everything you're saying, Coach. I agree with. He just needs to be in the building. Like that's.
I agree. I
That's a
agree.
good
He should
guy to
be
have in
there.
the building.
Yeah, Richter and Adam Graves are there a lot, but I don't know how much they're with like the team itself. But they're always at the Garden with the fans and everyone.
I think they're more like ambassadors. I don't think they're part of like the team decisions. I think.
Yeah, I mean, not
involved.
decisions. Definitely not
No,
decisions.
I don't mean team
just
decisions. I mean involved in the inner workings. I think they're more like ambassadors.
Yeah, I mean, just having those guys around is important. But yeah, someone being more involved in the decision making, it definitely wouldn't hurt with that kind of experience. But at the same time, like Chris Drury's that kind of experience, and he's that kind of guy. It's just we gotta be patient, and in Drew we trust, right? So let's play the commercial and get into Coach's Corner.
Hey everybody, Coach Ed here. I'm over here in the shop at Bella Italia, Marble Granite and Quartz, picking up my order for a nice little bathroom I'm doing. I've been a contractor almost as long as I'm a hockey coach. So listen to me when I tell you, when you want the quality work and craftsmanship, I'm going to see the boys over at Bella. They serve all 5 boroughs, Westchester, Long Island, all the way out to Montauk. Whether you're a Ranger fan, Islander fan, Devils fan, they're going to take care of you no matter what. Make sure you give them a call, 516-561-1018. Let's go Rangers. All right, boys, bring it in.
We got to get Giuseppe to put a hockey game on the TV next time. The next photo shoot. But anyway, so
They're probably enjoying the World Cup.
yeah, definitely. They're big soccer fans. They're big soccer.
We were for a
we were
minute,
upset
but
that
I guess
Italy
that's
didn't even
over.
get in. What, bud?
Yeah. I said we were for a little bit. We mentioned it last week, but that's over. Shout out
Yeah,
to Team
shout out to you,
USA.
Team USA. I actually watched my first complete soccer game the other night.
You watched the whole thing?
I'm not going to say it wasn't without frustration. I have a lot of questions that Mikey Produces was trying to debate me on, but me and Aaron were just going at it with him. Like,
Oh, he's a soccer guy now all of a sudden? Give me a break,
well,
Mikey.
he
I know you're
knows,
listening.
the whole fake injury thing, and then the clock doesn't stop just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I
was
just
explaining
don't
that to
get that
Lindsay,
at
too.
all. They score, they celebrate for like a minute and a half, and the clock's just running. Stop the clock. You're going to add time. Imagine coaching and you're down a goal and you have no idea how much time you're getting extra.
That's what I was explaining to Lindsay. Is like they kind of like keep a tally of like whatever.
Yeah,
They-
who keeps the tally? Mike said the referee keeps the tally.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
trusting one guy to keep the tally that could be paid off. And
Yeah.
FIFA is the most crooked organization in international sports, worse than the KHL. And you have one guy keeping the extra time.
Well, shout out to that one guy running up and down the field the entire game.
Because
Because I said to Lindsay too, I was like, I feel like they could have one or two more guys out there to give this guy a break, like an
they gotta
offensive zone. Yeah. And then the linesmen too, or whatever you call them, the line judges or whatever, they're running back and forth too with the flags calling the offside.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions, but
All right. Well, we don't have a lot of content. We got to find someone who knows soccer, and we'll have an episode of explain soccer to us or something like that. But all right, Coach, let's get into it. I know you had a lot of thoughts on the Zach Werenski. He's become one of your favorite players. Obviously, Team USA assisting on the golden goal, and a very good defenseman. Won the Norris Trophy this year as the league's top defenseman, and he's kind of been on your radar for a little while. So why don't we get into it?
well, a couple of years ago, again, since you got me hooked on NHL radio, they had him on, and he was so. I think it was when he signed his last contract. It might have been 2-3 years ago, and he was so happy to be part of Columbus's resurgence. And then when the unfortunate episode with Johnny Gaudreau, he was a big part of the community and trying to hold a team together. And he never had anything bad to say about Columbus or wanting to leave. So when this rumor came out that he wanted to leave, I was a little shocked, even though a lot of the USA guys are leaning towards that. And it's a players' league right now as far as where they want to play. And on NHL radio on Saturday, I think, or Sunday, I forget when it was, or last week, they had the GM. What's his name? Waddell? Wardell? I'm not sure, but
I think it's Waddell.
Don
they
Waddell.
had an interview with him.
Don Waddell.
And he basically came out and said he never came out and asked to be traded. He goes, I have a very good relationship. And the thing that got me was any great leader, and I learned this when I went to the Ronald Reagan Library. You walked on Air Force One and they gave you a lecture. He knew every press agent's family, their names, their children's names, if their father was sick, if their father just passed away, if their mother had breast cancer. And he made a point to go to their face and acknowledge it and say, how is everything going? So when you have an owner, and Vince Lombardi was the same way. Vince Lombardi had this, I forget who it was. He was a defensive lineman, a black defensive lineman. And back in the 60s in the NFL, you weren't allowed to have interracial relationships. It was a lot of rules. And Vince Lombardi went to Pete Rozelle and said, this guy is marrying this girl and you're not stopping it. That's how it was in the 60s. I mean, it was not an easy thing. But my point is, he was involved in their personal lives in a good way as a father figure. And Waddell says he goes down to the locker room and he's not involved in going down there after a game and barking shit like, why didn't you hustle? Why didn't you back check? He goes down before and after games and he talks to the players about their kids. They just graduated first grade. He goes to most of the players and he keeps a relationship like that to keep the family together. So to me, as a team leader, which a GM should be, and communicate with the coaching as well, he was talking about, if he knew of anything that players were going through that he needed to know. So that's what he would talk to the coach about. I mean, obviously they're always going to talk about X's and O's somewhat, or a player at it, who they need to get. But he basically said Werenski never asked for that trade. He said, we're going to test the waters and we're going to ask you if you want it. We're not just going to send you somewhere. And that's when Werenski supposedly came out and said, I don't want to go anywhere. I'm staying. He quit.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt they should have did with Brian Leach. That's why Leach had such a bad taste in his mouth. I remember I told you when you were a kid, I'm like, they're not going to let Leach go. They're going to ask him, what do you want? And that's the respect that player should get, in my opinion, on that level. Like, this is what they're offering. Do you want to go to Dallas? It would help this team, but we want you here. Communicate with the player as a person. I know it's a business, but you still should if you want to create that family and that team unity, that to me is very important. So his whole interview that day was very eye-opening, and it was very nice to hear. So
yeah, I remember exactly where I was when we read that ticker across the bottom of the ESPN screen that Leach was traded. I couldn't believe my eyes, and I think I started crying. So that just goes to show what that meant to me, and I guess the Rangers in general. But I actually have the quote right here. Nick grabbed it for us, I guess. There wasn't miscommunication between me, him, and his agent, Waddell said. Nothing against the media, but when media gets involved sometimes, there's a lot of speculation about what's going on. I've met with Zach multiple times and have obviously talked to his agent, Judd Moldaver, many, many times, and it was never a situation that weren't on different pages by any means as far as working against each other. Yeah, Coach, you definitely, of all people, always have an issue with how the media kind of drives a thorn between, I guess, the players and like the fan base a little bit, and the team. And RIP to Larry Brooks, but you had a huge issue with how he handled things sometimes.
I agree. I mean, he was a great writer for the. Obviously he had a lot of accolades from a lot of people, but I just feel that they hurt the team in a lot of ways. And they don't take into consideration players and families of the players and feelings and all that stuff, and it drives a force into a team. It could have been part of the downfall with the Rangers, with Trouba, that whole situation, how that escalated. That was a tough, from then on, the Rangers haven't really been good from that point on with the Trouba situation. Whoever leaked it out or whatever, Drury might have done it wrong or whatever the case is, but I think Larry Brooks took it to another level, in my opinion. I don't know. I think it means a lot when the teams care about the players to a degree.
Yeah, do you guys have any thoughts on this situation, Nick? You got anything?
Yeah, sure. I'll bring it up. You had mentioned it with with media bringing players and fans and causing a bit of divide and everything. And there was one player that I had come to mind real quick, and you saw it because of just how out in the open it was. Marner's time in Toronto. The media really laid into him and really just created the narrative that the fans ran with. And Marner didn't deserve a lot of that criticism, and you could see where he is now. Just happier than anything in Vegas. So it's just a matter of the media finding a way to just always weasel its way into situations that they don't need to be in all the time. Like we always say, like we were saying, situations like these don't need to be made public all the time. So to see that another one has been made public and could have caused a bit of a rift between one of the best players in the NHL and their GM can, be concerning sometimes as a fan base
and teammates. And it brings a rift. It brings a wedge in between teammates.
Oh, for sure. And we had mentioned it last week with the Larkin situation. I mean, if he comes back and they don't have a trade, those guys are going to really just start wondering if he's even going to, if he really wants to be here, depending on, he could say what he wants to the media in front of a camera, but you don't know what somebody's thinking. So I wholeheartedly agree with you. Yeah, it could just really cause more of a rift in the locker room, let alone with the front office.
And that might be why Drury doesn't talk to the media as much. Maybe he doesn't want to give him anything because they run, they twist words. I mean, Dom's going to go next. Dom, what about Steinbrenner? Was famous for being a big mouth, but he took care of his players' families and stuff. I still hear stories about that, how he was always like one-on-one with players and sick family members and all kinds of stuff like that, where, he took it as a business, but he was able to blend it to a degree where he made it a family.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that, because it goes into what I was going to say. Like, that's why people wanted to go to the Yankees too, because you hear about that stuff. Like, people talk in the league, players talk, and I'm sure, like Nick mentioned, Detroit, that leaves a sour taste in players' mouths when they hear all this stuff is going on with a captain in a big market team. They don't want to go there anymore. You think people want to go to Detroit now with all this craziness happening? Like, and they're not like a finals team either. People wanted to go to the Yankees. Like, everybody wanted to be there because of how tight their groups were always. Like, you see those teams and you see everybody, like, it's functional. It's not dysfunctional. And, I think that, those external factors really affect how a team is perceived.
Yeah.
And that goes hand in hand, like, with what we were just talking about before with ownership and the Rangers and, like, how you treat your players and stuff. Like, all you hear now is like, oh, no one's going to want to go play for the Rangers because of how Drury is cutthroat, blah, blah, blah. That has nothing to do with it. If the Rangers are a first-class organization, have private jets all over the place, top-notch facilities, playing in New York City, and the owner treats them the right way, they're going to want to come no matter what. And they just got to perform, and they'll stick around for a while.
I can't justify the Drury being cutthroat as a reason why somebody wouldn't want to come to the Rangers. I mean, there's plenty of players that would easily say, yeah, ship me off to Vegas. And
that's what I was
just as
say.
Cutthroat, if not more.
Way more.
Significant.
They traded, or they let their Conn Smythe trophy winner walk in the offseason, like, just without hesitation. They don't care. I mean, I kind of laugh at the people that say that kind of thing, and I think, look at Dorofeyev right off the bat. I mean, he came from Vegas to here and signed a big deal, and who knows how that one will play out, right, Nick? We'll have to wait to see how.
You got to give it time to be able to get your trade. Come on.
That's going to play out well, because I told you he's got the sweat equity. He's not a Panarin type player where it's about him. Yeah, he wants the money, but he's going to earn it. He's going to play hard. That guy could play. That guy plays. I'd be very shocked if it doesn't turn out well.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be interesting, the Columbus situation, how that continues to play out. They got, what's his name, Rick Bowness, coming back for at least another year after some of his interesting comments. I thought that might have had a lot to do with it. Coach, you remember that at the end of the season?
I heard Bowness on NHL also, and he said the players talked to him about it after the fact. They know what he was talking about, that he wasn't talking about in a long-term effect. He had to let the players know that they didn't come to play in those last few weeks. He wasn't saying it to a player like, we're trading the whole team. He was more disappointed. Again, you're going to equate it to a father with a child when they get disappointed, when they make a bad decision or something. And that's how he is. It's not because he doesn't care about the team. That's why they have him back. They're bringing him back. And the players all wanted him back. I haven't heard one player publicly say, I don't want to play for him. So, even in Winnipeg, when he got fired, the players were not, they didn't go bad, but they haven't really been that good since. They had a good season right after, but the team kind of fell apart from within. Now you had guys saying they wanted to leave, and there's definitely a factor behind that.
Well, look at Hellebuck.
Yeah,
that guy's been holding that team together, especially this year. Now he's not going to deal with that.
And he's got to be saying to himself what's going on internally, because there's obviously something going on. Because if it was all good and the players were all good together, he wouldn't be saying, I want out.
Yeah.
He'd be saying, we need one more player. We need this guy. We need something, So obviously he's seeing a downhill spiral going. So
Oh, definitely.
it's an interesting concept, but it was good to hear a guy talk like that, and that Warinsky's that kind of a person as well. You know, 'cause they have wives, and when they signed Charlie Coyle, he said this environment here is fantastic. My wife didn't want to go anywhere else. So as soon as they made me the offer for the whatever it was, he got 4.5 or 5 years. He said there was a no-brain decision, and he raved about Warinsky when he was in that interview.
Yeah. And the NHL just doesn't cease to give us news, as we got the news that Leo Carlsson was offered or given an offer sheet for $18.5 million a year by the Philadelphia Flyers. Thought that was very interesting coming out of NHL news this week. I don't know what to really say about this. I don't want to say it scares me, but it definitely makes things interesting in the Metro a little bit if he does end up sticking with the Flyers. But I have a feeling that Anaheim is going to have to match it. When Coach gets back, I want to get his thoughts on what that could do to a locker room, or what that could be doing to Anaheim's front office, and kind of what he was just talking about. But before that, I mean, Isaac, what were your thoughts on this whole situation? I mean, I know you like the contracts and you're into that stuff. So
I think it's insane. Well, like Leo Carlsson's not an $18 million player. He would be the highest paid player he's going to be the highest paid player in the league, no matter which team he's on. I think that Pat Verbeek now and the whole Ducks front office are kind of scrambling because they don't know what to do now. And also, I had heard, which is kind of crazy, the day the offer sheet was signed by Carlsson, apparently, Carlsson and his agent went to Verbeek, didn't tell him about the offer sheet, but they had it in their back pocket, and they were trying to negotiate a contract, and Verbeek wouldn't come above, I think it was $12.5 million. And
I heard 15.
No, so Carlsson countered with 15, and the Ducks refused to budge. So he was like, okay, I'm just going to sign this offer sheet now. Like, for apparently 18. Verbeek likes to play hardball with his RFAs, and now it's clearly backfiring. They signed Mintyukov to over $7 million per year, and I think that was because there was fear that someone was going to offer sheet him as well. And Mintyukov's a guy that the Ducks were scratching a lot. He didn't get a ton of playing time last year, and to have a guy you just scratched now get paid over $7 million a year because you're scared of that is crazy. And they also have, even after, if they match Leo Carlsson, they have to sign Cutter Gauthier, who's not eligible for an offer sheet, but who knows what he's going to want now. He'll be like, oh, Leo got 18. Like, he might want 15 now, you know?
That's
like
nuts.
The market's crazy. And then next season they have Beckett Seneca, I'm pretty sure, is up after next year. He's going to ask for a lot of money. So the Ducks have to, if they want to match this thing, they have to offload some money, whether it's like Vetrano or Killorn or Kreider. They need to find a way to move money and quick, because I think they have 2 days left. And
Isaac, what were his stats last year? I'm just curious. I don't even know.
Carlsson, I know points. I think it was 67 points in 70 games, something like that. So
how does that warrant $18 million?
It doesn't.
To me, I'm mad at the Flyers for even why they even think it's worth it.
Because that's the only way you're going to get a player from an offer sheet. Like, I remember when Sebastian Aho was offer sheeted by Montreal, it was just over $8 million, and people were like, "There's no point in that. Carolina's just going to match it. It's not even going to be hard for them to match it." I'm sure they would want a similar contract. Like, in order to get an offer sheet and to actually get the player, you basically do have to grossly overpay the player. Otherwise, the other GM's just going to match.
All right, but to me, you're hurting yourself also, because if
Coach, they're comparing him to a Barkov.
I understand you're comparing him, but he's not there.
He's not there. And will he eventually be in the market that the NHL is becoming, like a $14-15 million player, sure. I also think like if you're going to spend $18 million on Leo Carlsson versus like what if he wanted like 13 or 14 on a long-term deal, I think there are. I don't like that he's getting paid that he's going to get paid $18 million, but I think there are worse ways to use that extra $5 million.
Yeah.
But also they thought the Flyers, they're going to have to give up 4 firsts if it's not matched. Which
I mean, I heard that argument with the 4 first, because if the Flyers feel that this is going to put them into another level,
they're not going to be high.
Right. So those 4 firsts for the next 4 years or 5 years are not going to be great picks in the hockey world.
There's a fun.
So that's the gamble you're taking. Just like if you took Jason Robertson and you're giving up the 4 first rounders, if that's going to put you into a playoff level team, say going to the conference final level, you're not going to get high picks. So I get the gamble. I get that. But to me, to grossly overpay someone like that, you're hurting the whole industry.
Yeah, I hope
that's not even close. You're giving him more than Kaprizov, who's a proven 100-point player. You give it. Come on.
I hope it doesn't set the standard, but it might. But
it's going to set the standard. It's insane.
That was going to be my question. Is obviously we're not used to these prices as hockey fans, or these contracts, I should say. But with the cap going up, obviously we're going to have to, or we're going to get more used to it because they're going to be handed out more frequently. So Coach, like my question to you is like, what warrants an $18.5 million player? I mean, I know it's a few years ahead, but are you comparing that to like a $10 million player these days, or an 11, or what type of player? Like who would you pay right now 18.5 other than Connor McDavid?
I would pay Makar. Okay. I would pay someone like Werenski would be close. I would pay, obviously, McDavid, which is worth more than that. McDavid definitely. To me, if you're going to gamble on something like that, I'm going to gamble on Austin Matthews getting back to 50, 60 goals. He's got more of a legitimate chance at getting to that level than you're gambling that this guy's going to become a Barkov type player. As effective. I don't know.
What about
Celebrini? Celebrini, 100%. I mean, come on.
That's interesting. That's interesting. You say that because he's up for RFA contract. There's a similar situation where a team could come in and offer sheet him as well.
I think Mike Grier is going to see this and he's going to be like, I need to get him signed before July 1st of next year. I don't think there's any way he makes it that far.
Right.
Does Robertson warrant $18 million though? Like no RFA, like just
but Robertson is, how many years did he have 40 goals?
That's what I mean. I mean,
to me, if this kid's getting 18 million, then Robertson warrants it.
Yeah. But what
40 goals in the NHL multiple times?
Jason Robertson.
What does that do? I'm sorry.
45 goals this year, 35 the year before, 29, 46, 41. He's had 3 seasons over 40 goals, 4 over 35. And
I mean,
he's been between like 80 and 100 points.
He's got to get 16 million, Robertson, right now. Then at least to me, I mean, if you're going to give this kid that, I get it.
Does that raise Robertson's price? I think it makes Robertson earn more. If he's going to get 18
I agree.
Mil, I think, because that might raise it to 20.
It's a very unique case. Yeah, it's a very unique case because, like Isaac said before, like you have to do something like this to get a player like that. So obviously, Briere and the Flyers are targeting the type of player they want, and they're going to overpay for him for the next 5 years, but they have plenty of room to do it, and they're trying to build something pretty special in Philly. I mean, they made a little bit of noise in the playoffs. They got the coach, they got the goalie, they got some good pieces.
By the way, also the other crazy thing with the contract apparently is almost all of it is in signing bonus money, meaning it's not paid out over the course of the season. Like you get a deposit every 2 weeks. The second this contract becomes official, I'm pretty sure it's $19.5 million goes straight into Leo Carlsson's bank account. So You're like by
21
asking
years old.
the Ducks to match it, Verbeek now has to go to the owner of the team. And granted, while they're worth a lot of money a lot of the time with owners of sports teams or whatever is tied up in other assets. You're now asking the owner of this team, hey, if we match this, you have a week to get liquid $20 million and just give it to this guy and then do that for the next 5 years. You know,
Well, they got Comcast money, so that's not a problem.
Wait,
Yeah,
I
I mean-
thought I had heard that his contract, that the offer sheet was like a Bobby Bonilla type of thing, that it was going to be on the back end,
no, it's front loaded.
front loaded.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a matter of getting like the Ducks paying the $20 million almost at the end of the day isn't a lot of money. It's just a matter of getting the money like liquid basically immediately. Like I'm sure it might take it's just going to be an annoying hassle to deal with. There's also, I want to mention a fun tool on this website, hockeystats.com. They have like a offer sheet lottery simulator thing where you could put like, it'll like if you set the filter for 4 first-round picks you're getting, you just spin a wheel, it picks 4 players that you're going to get. If you put it's after the top 10, because assuming the Flyers are going to make the playoffs, like who did I get just now? I just did a spin. You're getting Lucas Johnson, right? Michael Rasmussen, Ryan Merkley, and Thomas Harley. Are you taking that for Leo Carlson? Like, probably not. The Ducks aren't going to get the value back for Carlson. Like,
No.
even if they take these 4 firsts.
I mean, I could see giving him 15 like that, but I don't know.
I got an interesting point that like piggybacks before we get into our in-house arbitration and close out this episode, but kind of what I've been saying that Chris Drury's doing, that everyone's like, oh, we couldn't even get a first-round pick for Panarin. He didn't want the gamble. He got a first-round pick that is already proving himself to be so close to NHL ready, as opposed to taking a gamble on someone that like might be a lot younger than Greentree, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say is you see Leo Carlson, you want him. You'd much rather just take the gamble on him than those four first-round picks in the next couple of years. So,
Well, I'm gonna give the Nick answer too. We'll see how this turns out in 5 years.
And
we're-
Nick, what do you think about this
We're
whole
all-
thing?
Exactly
You're
what
never
you
gonna
just
get
said. We got to see.
yeah. Well, I'm mad at myself for just thinking of this. I don't know why we didn't invite Siobhan Nolan on today's episode. Covers the Flyers for the hockey news, but I'll definitely reach out to her and maybe we can get her on for next week, or she'll definitely be on for the rivalry tour. So I'm sure we'll talk to her about it at some point. But yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of big news around the NHL. I'm sure it's not over yet. There's still a lot of good restricted and unrestricted free agents out there. And of course, those rumors that are still lingering: Dylan Larkin, Connor Hellebuck. That's
I
probably
mean, what is Dylan
ones.
Larkin going to command then? He's like
Well, he's still got like 5 years left on his deal.
5 years left.
yeah. I'm just saying, like, then if you can get Dylan Larkin at his salary, you're getting a bargain.
Well, a guy like Jack Eichel just signed for what, 11? I think something like that. He signed for a team-friendly deal.
I don't know. I just think
Well,
that it's and
this is
I
either-
I see the comments on the screen. It's only 3% of the salary cap. I don't see that, but I don't see that percentage. But
18 mil is not 3%.
yeah, that's what someone just said on the
3% more. 3% more
3%
than
more.
Panarin's.
Oh, all right. So that's not that doesn't justify it to me. And have the Rangers do with having Panarin at that percentage.
Easy.
Again,
It's Chris, it's Chris in the chat. He's going to come at you, Coach.
That's okay.
All right. Well, Chris is going to get a kick out of this one. Let's close this out with a little in-house arbitration hearing for our boy Braden Schneider. Nick and Dom are going to act as our in-house NHL commissioners. Isaac's going to come at us with some analytics and stats on why he thinks Braden should sign the deal he thinks. And then Coach Ed are going to try to combat him with our coaching and eye test analytics, if you will. So Commissioners, the floor is yours. What do you got? Tell us what to do, or who's going first.
All right. You guys are going to be determining the contract for Braden Schneider of the New York Rangers. We will start it off with Schneider's agents. So, Coach and Little Ed, take it away.
Coach?
So what is the value? What was his current contract?
2 years, 2.2 mil per.
And what's his qualifying offer?
I think something around that.
So the Rangers only offered him the same thing?
Just so that he doesn't become a UFA. Right now, he filed for arbitration. So if they don't,
So basically, the Rangers offer him what's called a qualifying offer to take him off the table from others. I guess doesn't that avoids like the offer sheet?
Yeah, it doesn't avoid the offer sheet, but if you don't qualify an RFA, then he becomes a UFA.
At July 1st.
Yeah. So what took him off the table for an offer sheet was that Schneider filed now for arbitration because they haven't got a deal done yet. And apparently his qualifying offer was 2.64.
All right. So they offered him the qualifying offer. He didn't want it or agree with it. So he has the rights to take us to arbitration, or we're taking Isaac to arbitration, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Something like that. So what would your argument be, Coach, for Braden Schneider, or what contract do you think he should get? Is it somewhere in Keandre's range, or are we looking at what kind of deal are we looking at here?
I don't have a I saw something with 5.5 million.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with taking 3 years at 5.5 to 6 million.
Okay. And why do you think he deserved that?
Well, I don't think he's at the level. I don't think Keandre's deserves what he got either. So if you're going to compare those two, personally, I think he's a far better defenseman. He had a bad year, but again, a lot of players did. I think his attitude is right. He's a team player. He does what it takes. He blocks shots. He plays with anybody that they put him with and never complains about it, never uses it as an excuse. And I think he's still young. What's his age? 24?
24, yeah.
So I think if you give him that, it puts him into the 27-year-old range, and then he can hit the home run if he proves himself over 3 years. Where if he doesn't, then you could do what you have to do. But I would give him the 5.5 to 6.
Quick commissioner note: I believe Isaac had mentioned it earlier. You can only sign 1 to 2 years on an offer
on an arbitration deal.
On an arbitration.
If the player files for arbitration, then the team decides whether they want to give out a 1 or 2 year deal. But that's the most arbitration deals go. They can still agree.
So 2 years, I'd say 2 years, 6 million per.
Okay. Isaac, what do you have in rebuttal to that? And then I'll go.
I would say that I would go like one year and like 3 mil, just because like when you look at who Schneider's most common partner this season was Gavrikov, and for the most part, like the guys who Schneider had played with this season, regardless of who it was, they had worse stats with Schneider than without him. Gavrikov and Fox was an unreal pair. When Fox went down, they put Schneider in those minutes, and the pair was borderline unplayable. They had like, I know expected goals aren't necessarily everybody's cup of tea, but it was 41% Schneider and Gavrikov. In terms of their actual goals percent, they were on the ice for 14 goals for and 29 goals against. So they got doubled in terms of what they allowed. And the fact that Gavrikov and
wait. You got to take that stat. That stat has to be a weighted stat.
Yeah.
Who were they playing against?
Probably because it was running the first pair, probably more top minutes. But if you want to say that Schneider is a top 4 defenseman in the NHL,
I didn't say that. We're not giving him top 4 defense money.
6 mil?
He's not top 4 defense. Not in this market now.
I don't know of third pair defensemen who are making $6 million. Like Sean Durzee's making 6, and he's played a top 4 role for Utah this whole time. Like,
All right, so I give him a top 4, but I'm not giving you're still not giving the argument. You can't go by goals expected. You got to go by weighted average. You got to go by the forwards he was out there with. There's a lot of factors in that. And if you're going to do your homework and if you're going to give me stats, then those are the stats as an agent I want to know, and I would be interested in hearing.
yeah, those stats do exist. The issue is a lot of them are behind a paywall, and I don't want to pay for them.
Well, okay, well, then,
I can tell you.
I got to go by the eye test.
By the eye test too. He and listen, I'll give Schneider the fact that he's big, he's 6'4", and he can skate well. But in my mind, he can't. From what I've seen, he can't handle the puck. Every time he receives a pass, it explodes off his stick. He's decent.
We got two different sets of eyes, so
he's decent offensively on the rush because he can skate well. Defensively on the rush, I'm pretty sure. Let me look right now.
I wouldn't hate. I don't 100% disagree with the $3 million. To me, it's a lot of money, but it's not a lot for them because there's a lot of comes out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to give it to him for 1 year, give him a year to prove it. And if I'm his agent, I'm going to tell him, all right, let's do it. Let's figure it out. But I don't know. That's a little light to me.
Listen, he's below average if you look at the amount of times that forwards target his side on zone entries, meaning when Schneider's on the ice, they target him more. If you look at bench rates, by the way, that the website, it came back up right as we were switching into arbitration. They have a what they call is their battles statistic, where it talks about giveaways and takeaways. He's in the bottom 24% of the league in defensive zone giveaways, which is not something you want to see from a guy who's going to make what is it? If you're arguing $6 million for reference, Marcus Pettersson who played on Vancouver, who was one of the worst teams ever, is ranked 62nd percentile in defensive zone giveaway, so slightly above average for him. And everyone would consider he had a down year.
All right, hold on, commissioner note.
Yeah.
Can we read out his just normal stats? You go on NHL.com.
Sure. Yes.
Give me, because these are all nice, but I'm also way too lazy to look up his stats right now. Just plus minus goals, assists, points.
Okay, 82 games played, 2 goals, 16 assists, 18 points, -5. He did have, I believe, a career high in assists this year, 16. Yeah, his previous career high was 15.
And his time on ice?
Time on ice, 20 minutes and 27 seconds per game, which is a 2.5 minute increase from what he was getting the year before.
I like the 82 games right off the bat.
Yeah, anytime you can play a full season is good.
The way he plays physically, I would have liked to have seen him play a little more physically the way he did the years prior. But again, he might have been nursing something. We don't know the circumstances.
He had shoulder surgery last offseason, I believe.
Leading into this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, I wouldn't, whether you want to argue if 3 mil is light, I wouldn't give him more than a year because I don't think I think he needs to prove that he can play in those tougher minutes. When he played on the third pair with Eric Gustafsson that 1 year in 2024, he put up decent results. And I would say, okay, you're playing in a more sheltered third pair role and you put up decent results, fine, but that's not a $6 million guy,
I don't think he's going to be a difference maker in the team, but I think in a team that plays well, he's going to excel. And that was the year they went far in the playoffs, and he was a part of it, and he's able to play more. So again,
but
if you're going to give certain players $18 million for 5 years or whatever it was, I'm going to gamble on him, and I want the 5.5, and I'm going to gamble that he's the type of person and player that's going to excel as the team improves.
Listen, if you want to, in my mind, his stock league-wide is probably higher than what he'll give you on the ice, and I would take in my mind you could find probably defensemen who fill a similar role to what Schneider is going to have for less money, and you can also get good. It wouldn't surprise me if the Rangers traded him and he got a first round pick or more, just because of his physical capability. He can skate well. He's a right shot defenseman and he's 6'4".
So that wouldn't surprise you that other teams would value him at that, but you won't give him to him. You won't give him to him.
I because I'm not personally a fan of him. I also don't necessarily think that NHL GMs are the best GMs in sports. I don't think they're.
And a right-hand defenseman is a premium right now.
Always.
Yeah, but in my mind, I'd rather play a lefty on the right side if they're just a better defenseman flat out.
Well, then we just can't talk anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously, I prefer one righty and one lefty, but.
Well, Isaac, then you constantly hear oh, he's not playing on the correct side. He's playing on his off wing. He's having an off year. I'm not saying you say that, but you constantly hear that on the radio and other analysts. And then it's Coach Ed and I say this all the time. It's I was a lefty, he was a lefty, and we both like playing the right side. I say it all the time. I was if you're a good defenseman, you should be able to play both sides.
Yeah,
and that leads into my argument to defend Braden a little bit, and Coach Ed mentioned it for a split second, is he's never really had a consistent partner except for that time that you just mentioned with Gustafsson. Even if it was on the third pair, with my little experience playing at the club hockey level as a defenseman, if you don't have a comfortable partner or someone that you trust or can rely on or get into a flow with, whether that is line changes, power play, breakouts, literally forecheck, literally everything, you're not going to succeed no matter who you are, in my opinion. I mean, even you could probably back it up with your numbers, but I don't see Adam. I never really saw the whole Adam Fox argument playing better without Lindgren versus with him. I know the numbers say that, but from the eye test perspective, you want to have that partner that you could trust and that you can rely on, that is going to have your back. Leading into the Gavrikov situation where you said that was his most consistent partner this year, as a coach, I wouldn't even put them together. I think they're obviously Gavrikov's much better, but I think they're too similar as a player. They're both a little physical. They're tougher. They're bigger. They both can generate offense if they want to, but it's not necessarily the big part of their game. To me, I see Schneider as a stay-at-home defenseman that needs someone like a Fox, someone a little bit more skilled, maybe even a Morrow. I know Morrow is a righty, but someone like that, like a Fortescue. I said it towards the end of last year. We saw it.
He played with Fortescue.
He played with Fortescue the last X amount of games. I think it might have been 10. No, Fortescue didn't play
9 games.
Something like that. And they played really well together. They were reading off each other. They had the good lefty-righty connection. Fortescue's a little smaller and a little bit more skilled. He might be able to carry the puck better. And Schneider could be that more stay-at-home, that baby Trouba that we always said when Trouba was around. And I feel Schneider isn't able to bring that physical part of his game, because we see it sometimes where he's throwing those open ice hits and it's oh my God, Schneider, this is Schneider. Or you look back in the World Juniors before the Rangers even drafted him, he lit someone up and got suspended. And I remember thinking oh, the Rangers got that guy, that he's going to be awesome. I feel he hasn't even had that ability to do that more often, A, because of his injuries, and B, because he doesn't have that partner that he knows has his back while he's quote unquote taking himself out of the play to throw that open ice hit.
I hear that, but that's also then part of the reason why I wouldn't give him a lot of money. I think the Rangers right now have, what is it, $6 million in cap space. I think if you want that money, then prove you're worth the money, which hasn't happened yet. Whether it's his own fault, whether it's the roster construction's fault, I don't think that that's something that you can warrant giving to him.
Yeah,
at least not at this point.
I'm not looking to give him $6 million either, although we're kind of talking out both sides of our mouths with the salary cap going up and saying a $6 million guy is not a third pairing. I don't know what the percentages are right now off the top of my head, but as the salary cap goes up, you got to be thinking your first line defensemen are going to be what, 15 mil? Your second line might be like 8 to 10. And then your third line eventually might be in that 6 range, dude. You know, like it might get to that point in the next couple of years. And it might not be a bad gamble. If Chris Drury really sees, I mean, we're not pro scouts. We're not looking at these guys night in and night out. I mean, yeah, we are, but we're not spending night in or every waking moment trying to figure out the potential of these guys and whatever, blah, blah, blah. If they trust that he could become something, I'm not saying give him like an 8-year deal or something crazy, but I don't really see the bad part of maybe taking the chance on him with a 1 or 2 year deal, make it a prove-it situation, but also show him some love. You don't want to lowball him either, because then it becomes this other situation where the player's not happy. We just talked about it almost ad nauseum with the owners coughing up the dough, the GM treating their players the right way. You know, you got to tickle their fancy a little bit, you know, lack of a better word. You got to make them show the love while also caring about the team, you know, and doing what's best for the team. I'm not the capologist by any means. It sounds like they do have the cap space. I don't really see what else they could spend that money on
This year,
other than a right-hand defenseman that it seems like everyone else wants. And if you sign him to that 4.5, 5, and he turns out to have a really good year, but the Rangers aren't having a good year, then that contract is even more attractive come trade deadline time. Maybe you sign him for that 2-year deal, because we talked about that too, where the player comes a little bit more attractive when he has term left on the deal, instead of the GM immediately having to negotiate that as well.
All right, so I'll compromise, Isaac. I'll go 2 years,
4.5.
4.5, 4.25, 4.5.
I would be okay doing it at 1. I wouldn't want to go 2. Also, you were talking about before the quality of competition. I don't have the forwards and defensemen specifically, but according to what I'm reading, the quality of his teammates was like, I think they rank it based on like if you have more playing time than you're probably.
I'm not saying it's the quality of his teammates. I'm talking about the quality. There's a lot of factors that go on, and that's what, to me, the eye test shows a little more.
I hear that.
I don't see him, like, again, you think that Keandre probably had great stats. All the analytics you gave for him were great this year. Who did he play with? He played in a system.
I think Sean Walker.
No, but he played on a team, I mean.
Yeah.
That has a great defensive system. They all play a 200-foot game. There's not one guy in that team that doesn't back check and creates back pressure. It very rarely happens. So it's a lot easier to play defense and goaltending and goalie when you have a team like that. The Rangers had a horrible year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
That puts a lot of pressure on the defenseman.
Wow.
And the goalie.
I don't
think difference.
I don't think Keandre Miller is a $7.5 million defenseman, but I also like see more skill with him than I see with Schneider personally.
Oh, without a doubt, he's a more skill. He definitely.
They're different players,
but I don't think he has it between the ears that Schneider has. It remains.
That's the difference. I think is Schneider. Yeah, it might seem like he is making mistakes, or like you said, the puck might be bouncing off his stick, but like he's very rarely is Schneider caught out of position. In my experience of watching him closely,
he had a rough season this year.
But like glaring mistakes, like
I agree.
Not often. I mean, but that's also the issue where we want a little bit more from him as well. So,
I mean, it's
thoughts. I think I've said my part.
It's another number, but shot attempts 5-on-5 in his career, he's minus 900.
I don't even. What does that mean?
What is that even a stat?
The other team takes a lot more shots with him. Like they get a lot more shot attempts through with Schneider on versus without.
No, that's not shot attempts through. That's shot attempts. Now you're changing the stat.
Let me see.
I'm confused. Clarify.
I think I might be too. Hold up.
He blocked shots. The guy. Let's not take away from his bravado and his wanting.
Well, that's what these arbitration hearings are. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like the arbitration hearings are like the arbitrator
suck.
kind of just like ripping into the player.
Right.
Like that's
That's
kinda
why I
their
knew
job.
you'd be perfect for it, Isaac.
Sean, like here, I have Sean Dersey for as a comparison. He's plus 103 in his career in 5-on-5 shot differential.
So, but explain the 5-on-5 shot differential. So,
And Schneider's minus 900.
In his career, apparently, if I'm reading this right,
That's insane. I mean, I'm not going to give him a contract based on that because that definitely factors into other teams. Are they rebound shots? I'd like to see the rebound shot attempts because he's great at playing without the puck. To me, that's an important in front of the net front stat.
hold, give me
What
one
happened?
second. Hold
Lost
up.
Isaac, he's going
Yeah,
dark.
someone just shut the light. Hold up.
He got sent to the board.
the website crashed. His lights went out. It's over.
Braden Schneider's in his house.
Yeah.
Showed up like Brent Barry.
I'm at my cousin's house. I think someone just like walked in and shut the light. Didn't realize I was here. I don't know.
All right, so what can we agree on?
Yeah.
What do
So
you
what do we
say,
got?
Ed?
Let the commissioners say their piece. And
I mean, I think the commissioners at the end of the day are the ones who wind up just deciding the contract, and then the Rangers decide whether to take it or let him walk to UFA.
okay.
Dom, take it away.
All right, so we decided, me and Nick, after texting back and forth while you guys were arguing, we decided $4.25 million for 2 years.
Let's go. Our first arbitration hearing, Coach.
All right.
Not
I
too
don't
shabby.
hate that. I mean, I think that's fair for him. He's been here, 5 years, 6 years, and I don't know. In this market and the amount of games he plays, come on. I think he's a good kid, good player. I don't
He's
think
got
you're
great
gonna
hair.
he can't grow a beard, but other than that, I like him.
He's
And
a
I got his
handsome-
jersey, so I want his jersey for one more year at least. I lost
Yeah,
Trocheck.
he's a handsome fella. But Chris in the chat does bring up a good point that 1 year keeps him at RFA. I threw it up on the screen before. So you get like another crack at him, kind of like to be in control. Whereas the 2-year deal, he'll become an unrestricted free agent at that point. So
2 years
Another
gives
loophole.
him a UFA.
2 years
2
makes him
ye-
unrestricted. Yeah.
yeah, 2 years will send him to unrestricted free agency, whereas only a 1-year deal will keep him as an RFA, and Drury will have another crack at him. Which, honestly, like I just said, it's kind of like maybe Drury offers him 1 year at 6 or 2 years at 4.25. Do you want the
1 year at
stability?
5.
At that, like
You know what I mean?
personally, in terms of like what I would even if it means giving him more money, I'd rather give him the 1 year, just because it makes it easier to walk away from if things go really bad.
Well, it also puts the ball in his court to prove himself to get more
of course.
money in the next year. So I don't hate the 1 year. And if I'm his coach, if I'm his father or his agent, I'm going to say, all right, let's go. You okay with this injury you had, the surgery? Let's wake up. Stop. If that's the fear that was in him, that shoulder surgery for last season, it's time to get over that and figure it out if you want to be the big time player. So it's going to be in his court. He's got to prove himself.
And these are post-arbitration discussions. You're not going to say in the hearing that you'd be okay with the 1-year deal. We're going for the 2.
Yeah. I think that's up to the Rangers.
2's locked
to
in.
decide.
No, okay, we're good.
I think like in real life, the Rangers, when they go to arbitration, get to decide because Schneider's the one who filed. I think if the Rangers filed for arbitration, then Schneider would get to decide how many years he wants.
Gotcha.
All right, interesting
I mean,
stuff.
look,
Well,
I don't think you're going to lose with the 2-year deal with him. I think he's a steady, obviously, he gives you the games. And if they can move towards the playoffs this year, I think he's going to help you, not hurt you. So,
and if he has a steady partner for at least 60 games this year, I think you'll see a different Braden Schneider.
and I mean, again, we already made the decision, Isaac, but what's the stats on him? You don't have to get him now. But the Rangers played bad, but their resurgence in that after the Olympic break with those 20, 25 games with the young guys, I thought he played a lot better. So I'd be interested to see.
What are Schneider's stats post-Olympic break?
Yeah, because I thought he played a lot better. The beginning of the year, he definitely was struggling. I think I said it multiple times. You just saw it in his face, and he just was losing back.
I remember because Schneider's one of Coach Ed's favorites, and even he was saying or pointing out some mistakes. So Yeah, without a doubt. But yeah, let's save that for next episode. Hopefully by then we'll have a decision on Schneider and we could revisit it and we could talk about his post-Olympic stats, give Isaac some time to go through his websites that are non-paywall protected. And we'll
If for some reason get blacked out, the lights go out, you know.
Yeah. No, but Isaac, we'll talk behind the scenes if there's anything that we could put on the podcast account that you may need or find worthy. We'll discuss that. But other than that, good job. I think that was fun. Nice little segment we introduced, a little fun one. Practicing
cool.
when Isaac is an agent or something one day, hopefully. We'll see what happens. But good episode, boys. Nick, Dom, I know you guys didn't get a chance to talk a lot towards the end there, but you guys did a good job with your decision making and texting behind the scenes, and great job all around, like I said to you guys before. So another good episode, guys. Another fun off-season one. We'll keep the content coming if the news keeps coming. But definitely keep an eye out for our schedules and our announcements. We might sneak a week off in the upcoming weeks here because we all deserve one. We all need one. But yeah, like I said, follow us on all of our socials. It's the best way to keep up with us and keep up with our episodes and when they're coming out. Good job. Congratulations to Braden Schneider for 2 years, $4.25 million. From the podcast though, not from the Rangers. We'll see what happens there. But, yeah.
Well, maybe I could use that clip if he actually gets signed for 4.2.
There you go. Imagine if that's the number, that'd be great. We have been pretty hot. Members on this show have been pretty hot. We're calling things and predicting things and stuff. So maybe we'll see what happens. Yeah, that's it, guys. Happy 250 to America once again. Love all you guys. Love doing this. It's been a good time. Let's keep it going. Let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers, Ed.